Hi, plant-based nutritionista here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about my 5 tips for overcoming cravings. Actually, before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to be recording in my bedroom like this forever. I come up here because my 7-year-old is downstairs singing and making a lot of noise, and I've got teenagers running around the house. And so when school starts, I will do the videos in a lot prettier place. But for right now, I need the privacy of my bedroom. And yes, little buddy is over here in the background, keeping me on track. So let's go ahead and get started. My number one tip for overcoming cravings is meal planning. And that is what has really helped me the most. When I wake up in the morning, I do a workout, um, I read, I do a lot of things before I have breakfast. And that's just because I'm not hungry in the morning. When I wake up, the last thing I'm thinking about is food. And so I do a lot of things before I eat breakfast. And if I don't have something planned, then I tend to just start eating whatever's the easiest to grab. Or my husband has cereal that he's made, and I'm wanting bites of his cereal or bites of whatever I'm making for the kids, and it kind of goes off track really fast. But if I've planned something, if I have a meal plan, and I just write down really quickly, um, Monday, breakfast, I'll write down what it is that I want for breakfast and then where to find the recipe. So if it's a simple something like oatmeal or a baked sweet potato, that's fine. But if there's a recipe that I want, then I'll put it like where it is on Pinterest or what book it's in or something like that. And I just quickly go through and do that so that I have a plan. And sometimes I'll switch and think in the evening I'm really not in the mood for Mexican, so I'm going to swap for the Italian dish that was going to be on Thursday or whatever. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but it's just something so that you know that you have all of the ingredients for everything and you're not just grabbing snacks or whatever or overeating before you figure out what you want to have for dinner. So that really has been really helpful for me. The other thing that I want to say with meal planning is make sure that you plan things that you love. Don't get into this with doing someone else's meal plan that includes a lot of things that you really don't like. That's not going to work. Eventually, you're going to end up binging on things that you do like. So make sure that when you're thinking of the meals that you want to make sure that they're things that you enjoy, things that you like. And that's really going to help you not have cravings. I mean, if you ate a wonderful meal and it tasted amazing to you, you're less likely to crave other foods. Um, and that kind of leads me into number 2, which is find a diet with foods that you love. Um, Basically, if you feel deprived and the food that you're eating doesn't taste that good, it's not satisfying taste-wise, emotionally, satisfying you on all levels, what's going to end up happening? You're going to keep craving and you're going to crave foods that taste good because dinner didn't. And then it ends up that you eat way more than you need to. And so that's really, really, really important to make sure that what you're eating is something that you love to eat that tastes really good to you. Um, do not cut out carbohydrates. Do not cut out healthy whole foods in any way, shape, or form. This is a recipe for disaster. You can do it for a time, but eventually it's going to backfire on you. So I don't recommend completely cutting out avocado or completely cutting out nuts or completely cutting out really much of anything when it comes to whole foods. There are refined foods, obviously, that I would say you're probably better not really eating, but we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. There may be, for health reasons, things that you shouldn't eat, and that's a different scenario, but I would really, really, really try to make sure that you are not limiting yourself too much because that can definitely lead to cravings. And healthy food can taste amazing. It doesn't have to be, it's healthy so it doesn't taste good and I'm not satisfied, hence now I'm here getting a bunch of donuts or Twinkies or whatever because I wasn't satisfied. It doesn't have to be that way. And it doesn't mean that you can have a dessert or a treat or something like that either. But you need to find a diet that works for you, that's satiating. I know some people have tried different diets telling you to eat fruit all day long or things like that, and they never felt satisfied, and they kept eating and eating and eating and eating, and it never satisfied them. If that's happening to you, that diet isn't working for you, and you need to do something else. If it is working for you and you just absolutely love eating fruit and it tastes good and it feels good and you love it, great. It's not that one diet is bad and one diet is good all the time for everybody. You just need to find something that makes you happy, makes you feel good. Number 3, emotional eating. This is a huge issue for me. I struggle with it a lot, so I totally understand. Um, Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's feeling lonely, sometimes it's just being bored and food sounds really good and so you want to eat it. Um, but one of the things that I noticed when I started gaining weight, and this was after I had started a whole food plant-based diet, I'd been doing really well, and then all of a sudden I started gaining weight again, and it was emotional eating. I was struggling with a lot of stress and a lot of things in my life, and instead of dealing with those things, I ended up eating. And a lot of times it was simple things. I made this cookie dough out of peanut butter, maple syrup, vanilla, chocolate chips, obviously, flour, and I would just mix it up until it made cookie dough, and I would eat it. It's really good. And I would eat a lot of it until I was overly full. That's when you run into problems. But the reason I was doing that and craving that and wanting it is because that sugar, that dessert was really comforting, and I was using it to stuff feelings down. And I wasn't able to get through kind of that weight gain until I was able to face those emotions. And you have to sit there and feel those emotions and recognize where they're coming from. Why are you feeling this way? Um, I started writing in a journal how I am feeling. Go grab your journal and just start writing. Why is it that do I feel empty inside? Am I feeling lonely? Am I just really stressed out? What is it that I'm trying to avoid and stuff down in by using food? And it's very powerful to be able to recognize, oh, it's not that I'm actually hungry or that I have a craving. I have an emotional need that's not being met. And it's really, you have to identify those things or the craving isn't going to go away. And I've done a 30-day emotional eating program. And if you would like to see my 30-day emotional eating program, please comment below and let me know. I've been trying to decide if I want to offer this program or not for emotional eating. That was really effective for me. But if you would like to see that, please let me know. Um, Connect to your feelings. And also, I've used meditation, other relaxation techniques to kind of handle that really intense part of the craving, and then it comes back down. You've got to handle that wave, ride over the top of it, and just ride it out. It can be really hard. You feel like you're gonna die, but you're not. You will be fine. You're not gonna die if you don't eat that food. It will be okay, and you've got to let yourself know that this is just a craving. I know what it is. I had a fight with someone that I care about, or work was really stressful, or something like that. I know what's going on, and I'm not going to use food. And you really have to mentally attack it head on and not just mindlessly run over and start stuffing a bag of chips in your face. Um, and there are a lot of ways that you can handle that, and we don't have time to talk about them here. But if you really like to know my 30-day emotional eating program, please let me know. Number 4, skipping meals and the binge starve cycle. I am guilty of this one as well. When my weight goes up and I flip out about it and I think, okay, I'm not going to eat breakfast or lunch tomorrow and I can get this weight back off. And then what ends up happening is as soon as you do eat at dinner, then you end up binging, and it didn't matter that you didn't eat breakfast and lunch anyway. Or you might be able to do it for several days, but eventually the hunger is going to catch up to you. And It's interesting that I would tell my husband, I don't feel like I'm eating a lot, but I'm gaining weight, and it really was the mindless snacking was part of it, but part of it was binging. And when I binge, it doesn't look like when other people binge. It's not that much food, but it's enough to prevent me from losing weight. Um, it's really important to be consistent. I do believe in honoring your hunger cues, but and so if you're not hungry early in the morning for breakfast, that's fine. But having the plan of your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner and sticking to that plan. And if you go off plan, get right back on. Don't do this, I'm going to make up for it. It's going to backfire on you. So make sure that you're being consistent and just stick with that consistency. Eating foods that you enjoy and that feel satiating to you, and don't ever get into this skipping meals to make up for something that you ate and playing that game, because it always backfires. Trust me, I know. I've been down that road way too many times. I do lose weight sometimes, but it comes back. It just, you end up binging eventually. And I've had, at one point, the worst relationship with cereal ever, because I had starved myself and avoided or skipped meals for a long time, and cereal is one of my favorite things, and I couldn't stop eating it. I started eating it and it was bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl. Don't do that. It's not worth it. And my number 5 tip, some people won't like this, but I don't think that very many people can be successful doing this. My number 5 tip is never say never. Um, and I have found this to be so insanely helpful um, for me. When I said I'm never going to eat sugar again, I went an entire month without eating sugar. And a lot of people will tell you that's what you need to do, in order to get over it. No, no, no. It got to the point where I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I ended up binging on it. And it would be this, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat sugar. And I would do it for a while, and then guess what? I would eat it, and then I couldn't stop eating it, and I would end up eating the whole pan of brownies instead of just one. And I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. But when there are foods that you enjoy, when I was the lowest weight that I've ever been as an adult, guess how old I was? I was 36 years old, and I was smaller than I was in high school. In fact, my wedding dress wouldn't fit me because it was way too big. Okay. My wedding dress was a size 5, so it wasn't a, a big size, but uh, that size 5 wedding dress wouldn't even fit me. It would drown me. And I was 36 years old. How did I do that? I ate healthy 90% of the time. And I ate foods I absolutely loved. Loved, loved, loved. I mean, when I ate breakfast, it tasted so good, and I could just sit down and eat until I felt satisfied, and everything I ate I loved. And so I never felt like, oh, that didn't taste good, I didn't like that, I need to find something else. The other thing that I didn't do is I didn't eliminate anything. I did have a little bit of avocado or some tahini and something. I didn't eat lots of nuts, but I could eat 5 almonds and be done. And that's what I did. I didn't eliminate almonds. Sometimes I just eat a Brazil nut. So I didn't eliminate higher fat foods. I didn't eliminate carbohydrates. I didn't eliminate sugar. I didn't eliminate anything. In fact, I had a chocolate chip cookie every single night, and I was the lowest weight I've ever been in my adult life. Why? Chocolate chip cookies are my favorite dessert. I made them healthy. They were oil free. They were a little bit of peanut butter, maple syrup, applesauce, whole wheat pastry flour, vanilla, salt, baking soda. Um, there was a little bit of brown sugar, and that's so. I mean, they weren't, I wouldn't say healthy, but they weren't like, you know, a cup of vegan butter or something like that. Um, but it tasted good. They were crispy on the outside. They were amazing, delicious chocolate chip cookies. If you want the recipe, I can give you the recipe. But I ate one of those every night. Why did I not binge on them? Because they weren't a forbidden food. I could have one every single day if I wanted. It fit into my meal plan. I just had a little cookie every night. It tasted good. It satisfied my craving. You will always have cravings for the food that you say, I will never eat that again. And you're going to think about it until you do. You might as well not do it. Find a way to make it healthy. I found a way to make delicious, amazing chocolate chip cookies without any oil. They did have maple syrup. They had some sugar, but one cookie's not that big of a deal. And I didn't have cravings. I also ate a lot of greens, a lot of salad, a lot of really healthy food, and I had amazing salad dressings that just made the salad like the most gourmet meal. And those are the dressings that are in my Zesty for Health oil-free salad dressing recipe book. Those are the dressings that I used to lose the weight and make me love my veggies. And that was a huge part of it as well. So just to recap before we finish, meal planning. Make sure you plan and plan fun foods. I planned a chocolate chip cookie every single day. So you can do that. It might be cookies, it might be something else. I don't know. But meal planning. Plan in some fun foods. 90% of it should be healthy, but make sure they're foods that you love. Find a diet plan with foods that you absolutely love. Don't think that you have to stick with one diet or another if you're not enjoying it. You don't need to do that. Find foods that you love. Emotional eating, you need to feel those emotions. I know it's uncomfortable. I know none of us want to feel emotions, but you need to feel them. And if it's stress, you need to find a way to relieve it. Go take a walk out in nature every day if that helps you, or meditation, or something that helps you relieve those really intense feelings that make you want to eat. Skipping meals and the binge starve cycle, that will cause your cravings to go through the roof. And last but not least, do not eliminate foods from your diet and say, I will never eat that again. I've always seen that to be a problem, and it's just not something that I think works for people. Um, Hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully you can get some ideas of how to deal with emotional eating or cravings. And if you want to see that 30-day emotional eating program, please let me know. I've been trying to decide whether to finish it or not. I haven't quite finished it, and I probably won't end up finishing it unless I know that people really, really want something like that. So let me know. I do have the Zesty for Health salad dressings available on my website. If you want to find a way to make your salads really taste good, that's available. And I do have now the PCOS Urban Seed Guide available, which gives you all of the supplement, basically scientifically proven herbs and seeds and things that help reduce testosterone levels, boost progesterone levels, manage estrogen levels, all of that, boost follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, and get everything kind of balanced hormonally for women. So if you want to check that out, that's also on the website. And if there's anything else that you want to see or questions that you have, please let me know for videos in the future. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I will see you next time.